Hello again, welcome back everyone. Liquor Hound here with you. Thank you for joining me for another spirit review video. And today I'm excited to bring to you Stagg Jr. This is Buffalo Trace's newest release. And of course, with the antlers in the name, it is the younger brother to George T. Stagg. Now, George T. Stagg wins tons of awards. Of course, it's one of the most highly sought after bourbons in today's world, next to probably Pappy Van Winkle's and so on. But George T. Stagg, while it is fantastic bourbon, again, it's just so hard to get hold of a bottle. Even myself, I try and I search, and I've only been able to find one bottle in the last like 3 to 5 years. Also, price point, Stagg, George T. Stagg, runs around $125 to $150, so it is a little bit pricey. Younger brother, so because Buffalo Trace probably heard all the cries of everybody talking about how hard it is to get this one, they decided, you know what, let's release a younger version of it, and we can do it more often. So it's going to be a limited batch release, meaning they're about 2 or 3 times a year they're actually going to be releasing Stagg Jr. Now, because it is uncut and unfiltered, that means it's going to be barrel proof essentially. 134.4 on this one. The next release, probably going to be a little higher, a little lower. It's probably not going to be the exact same. That could be a good thing for collectors because, you know, you're out there, you might want to try different vintages to see how they're comparing, and maybe you're going to find your favorite, and you'll be searching for that specific proof as you go along. As far as Stagg Jr. and George T. Stagg are concerned, they use this exact same mash bill. It's going to be Buffalo Trace's mash number 1, which is going to be high corn and low rye recipe. The high corn is going to give you this really nice rich sweetness, and the rye is always going to give you a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of spice, and also some floral notes. Now, it being lower, you know, we'll see how it impacts it, but I already know it's George T. Stagg's fantastic, so that recipe is going to be a winner, regardless if it is a little younger. Now, George Stagg Jr. is actually 8 to 9 years old in the wood. Big brother, between 15 and 18 years, I think 15, 17 being the sweet spot there. As you can see by the glasses and by the bottle, there is a really nice rich color to this one. Very, very nice reddish hue to it. Okay, what else do we need to talk about? We've got the age, same mash bills, availabilities. Hopefully, you know, like I said, it's going to be more of these released, so hopefully you can get your hands on it. $125, $150 for the big brother, $50 for this guy. I think we got our bases covered. As you can see, I've got 2 glasses here. This one's going to be nice and neat. This one over here, I'm going to add a few drops of water. Now, I have left them poured for a little bit. They've been open here for about 3 to 5 minutes. A fellow enthusiast and friend of mine is actually in agreement in that Stagg Jr. really benefits from allowing a little bit of time to open up in the glass. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, it's 134.4, so I don't think any of those are really out of line. But the more time you give it to kind of relax in the glass, it's going to get a little bit of that alcohol to burn off, and it's going to let those flavors just show up a little bit more on the palate. Alright, so I'm going to do them both neat and with water and see how the aromas are different and how the flavor profiles are different. On the nose, I love this bourbon. It's so full of a ton of brown sugar. That's the one thing you're going to notice immediately. Brown sugar, rich fruit notes. I'm talking raspberries, really ripe cherries. A little bit of clove to complement that cinnamon, and a really nice medium amount of oak and vanilla throughout. In that background, maybe a little bit of chocolate and also a little bit of a, I'm going to call it a cigar box on that one. Alright, with water. The spice is muted. That cinnamon that I was getting in this one and the clove is definitely a little bit muted in this one. It is still sweet, still brown sugar, still a fair amount of vanilla. Good, the oak is still well represented. And the fruits are there, but they're not being, they're kind of blending together when I added the water. I'm not able to pick them out so easily. There is a bit of floral note that comes out a little bit stronger once you add water. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to the tasting. Nice and neat. Wow. When it enters your mouth, it is fairly silky, fairly oily. Wow. It is nice, big brown sugar note right up front. But the thing that you most notice about this one when you sip it neat is how right after you think, oh, this is going to be fantastic, it's kind of like it's George T. Stagg, then all of a sudden, here comes this huge cinnamon and spice surge right there in the mid palate. Fortunately, unlike some inferior bourbons, let's say, where that spice would come in and it burns all the way down your throat and it's horrible, this one, you just got to survive that initial wave, because as soon as that cinnamon and that spice kick rolls over in the mid palate, it really fades very nicely, and that's where you're going to get all the I'm getting like chocolate, and you're getting the fruits, the raspberries, the cherries, even a little bit of apricot is what I'm finding now. Yeah, it's definitely apricot. And then on the finish, where I was calling cigar box on the nose, I would still lean that way. It almost reminds me of a little bit of cedar in there as well. But I just love the way it goes down, calm, sweet, brown sugar. And then that nice spice kick comes, here it comes, right here in the mid palate. And then, but like I said, it never gets really, I mean, it gets a little warm. And if you're not used to it, you may feel a little too hot for you. But when it starts to gets just right there at the top, then it just crests, and then you get this really nice, super long finish in this one. Really love Stagg Jr. Alright, let's try it with water and see if that helped it or hurt it. Really calm down that cinnamon swell. But it does show up a little bit later, it feels like. It shows up, but it's a lot less intense. So initially when you enter, it's very similar. Brown sugar, nice sweet oak, little vanilla. And the fruits are kind of coming in with that cinnamon. Let me try that one more time. Yeah, the fruits kind of roll in right there with the cinnamon, but they don't seem to be as well defined as they were when they were nice and neat. You're still getting the raspberry, cherry, apricot, but they're mixed in with all that cinnamon. They're mixed in with the oak, and you do get the cigar box of cedar on that finish. So it is very similar. It does tame that heat, but it also tends to kind of meld together those flavors of fruit. Instead of over here when I was getting, I could pick out the chocolate, there's the raspberry, and then here's the apricot on that finish, and the cinnamon's definitely fading. And then you end up with the cigar box and the cedar. Here it's kind of like as soon as that cinnamon swell comes, here comes all that fruit, here comes a little bit of chocolate, and then they just kind of all mix together into a finish. Finish also seems to be a little touch shorter when you add water. But again, this is all my preference. When you get your bottle, you're going to have to taste it, see which one you prefer. You're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to deal with that swell if you want to go this way. But if you want to add water, I mean, this is still very high quality bourbon. Even with the addition of water, it's fantastic. It's probably, to me, one of my top picks out there right now, currently available. It's full flavored, full bodied, and it's a wonderful addition to the Buffalo Trace line. So again, I hope you can find a bottle of this. And again, if you feel like it's something that is just burning you down, even when you add a little water, hey, try adding a little more water. If you still can't find it there, and you feel like you enjoy your bourbons with Coke, do that. That's fine. You know, it's your bottle. Drink it how you want, and enjoy your bourbon. So again, thank everyone for watching my videos. I really do appreciate everything y'all say, and have a good evening, and cheers.